An example of cohesion is water droplets on a window. The water droplet molecules, as they move down the window, like here, are mutually attracted to each other and so they stick together. The shape of the molecules makes the electrons irregular when they get close together, so there is an example of cohesion, right there. So as it continues, the water gathers up all the other little molecules and they stick together. So as for adhesion, I showed this by pouring water onto a paper towel. The molecules are different, so they adhere and they cling together, and that's why the water spreads out on the paper towel. The water molecules and the paper towel's molecules adhere since they're different, and therefore they have a force of attraction. You can also see some cohesion there when the water and the other water are the same, so they also come together. Here's an example of how melting is an example of endothermic energy. If you've ever left ice cubes out, you'll see that it melts. That's because the heat enters the ice cube, therefore it evaporates and goes away. Now for freezing. This is an example of exothermic energy where the heat leaves the object. Something that you find yourself doing is making ice cubes. I filled the ice cube tray with room temperature water and put it into the freezer.
6 hours later.
They turned into ice cubes since the water endured freezing, where exothermic properties occurred and the heat in the water left the ice cube. So therefore now you have a solid ice cube. Evaporation is endothermic, and here's an example of how. When you wash your hands in the sink is now wet. Over time, the sink dries up because the water evaporates in the air. This happens because when the water warms up, since it's hanging out in the sink, it rises in the air. Therefore, evaporation is an endothermic process. So here's the sink dry a couple hours later. As for condensation being exothermic, a good example is a hot shower. Before your shower, your mirror is fine and it looks like this. After your shower, the mirror is steamed up. This is because the steam from the shower has condensed because it's gotten cold since the heat has left it as it's traveled outside of the shower. So there you go. Now I've showed you all the phase changes with melting, freezing, condensation, and evaporation and how they relate to endothermic and exothermic properties. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something, and thanks for watching.